All right, you've got your Linda Strickland Art Watercoloring Cards, Coastal Cousins bundle, all painted. They're beautiful little mini masterpieces. Now what? I'm going to show you some things you can do to send and or display these. So we're going to start with this heron. The first thing I did was took all these cards and laid them with a great big heavy book on top of them to make them nice and flat. That just makes everything else you do easier. So if you're going to send this as a card, it is 5x7 and the cards are 5x7. I mean, maybe you can find bigger ones. 5x7 is what I can find. They come in a myriad of colors with matching envelopes. It's great fun. I've kind of chosen this color for this guy. So you can see the card is 5x7. Let me show you that it's a card. And the painting is 5x7. So you can glue it, tape it down to fix it just like this, and it'll work just fine. Or if you've got this pretty card, what's the point of the pretty card if you can't see a little bit of it? So we've got to trim this. Now I'm a big fan of the torn edge, but to tear just a little bit off is really hard. So I'm going to save this torn edge at the bottom and trim around here. You can see there's plenty of room to trim this card down without losing the integrity of the drawing or the design. So I got a pretty good sized cutting board here, and I'm going to cut about 1/4 of an inch off on both edges. That is a squeaky board. And then I've got to cut a little more off the top in order, because I'm not going to cut the bottom. But there's plenty of room to do it. Here we go. This is scary. Whew. All right, let's see how it looks. There you go. It doesn't take much of the color of the card showing through to look like it's in a nice matte. And you'll notice I didn't measure exactly. You can if that's your thing. The cutting boards have all the measurements on them. All right, so I've got it cut down where it looks good. Now, how do I put it on here? There's 2 ways that I do them. One is to glue them, and the other is to tape. One's a little more, if you glue them down, it's pretty much permanently on there. If you think you might want to take it off later, you might want to use tape. I am going to use glue on this bad boy. So I use these glue sticks that are from Hobby Lobby, Paper Studio, that's their brand. I've used a bunch of them. These are very affordable and they work better than anything else I have found. You'll find this kind of supply in the scrapbooking area and card making, I'm sure. All right, I go to town on this thing. I kind of like how the back of this looks too. Very watercolory. I mean, I like really put some elbow grease into it, and I make sure that the corners are covered really good. I don't know why I think I have to do it this way, like it's going to get away or something. All right, here we go. And again, you can measure this exactly if that's your thing. I just eyeball it. And here's a trick. If you turn it upside down, you'll see the edges better because you're not looking at the design, you're looking at the actual measurements and sizes. All right. Now I do the same thing with this. Once it's glued down, put a big heavy book on it, let it sit for a while, and it'll be permanently on there. So there we go. Somebody will be really happy to receive that card. All right, so that's the heron on a blue card. Let's put the crab on a bright color. What do you think about, let's see what the pink looks like. That's really, really strong. Green. The crab, he looks good on everything. So this would just be a matter of choice. I think I'm gonna go with the green. All righty. Again, I need to trim him down, but there's plenty of room. I'm gonna keep this torn edge on the bottom, and also because my design goes to the bottom. You'll notice that I signed mine. You need to sign yours. Okay, sign it proud. I'm gonna be tight here. All right, let's see how that looks. I might take a little off the bottom. Oh no, that's my cut edge. I mean my torn edge. Dilemma. Maybe I'll just leave it. I'll just leave it. Okay, this one I'm going to put on using mounting squares. These are, again, the scrapbooking supplies. If you were going to send this to someone, and let's say you thought they might want to take the painting off and frame it. I can't get these off. Some of these you can buy are repositionable. which would mean you could be able to get them off. This watercolor paper is pretty tough, so if you needed to remove it from the card, I don't think it would damage it. Somebody can try that and let me know if it works. Probably, I would put a bunch of them on here. Again, because I don't know. I seem to have this idea that it's going to get away somehow. Okay, so you've got those tabs on there. Then you just pull the little backings off. Now a roll of double sticky tape works just as well. If you don't have the fancy scrapbook tabs, double sticky tape works. I'm gonna go upside down because I'm gonna make sure I got the card going the right way. That's a good tip. Okay. So that's not right. There we go. So this isn't even. There's more showing on the edges than on the top of the bottom. Doesn't bother me at all. There we go. And again, if you put a book on this, I think this will hold just fine. So that's how to put them in cards. If you want to put them in a frame, here's some ideas. This is just a 5x7 frame, you know, inexpensive, affordable, bought from the hobby store. This is a 5x7 painting. You can take the back off. You'll want to clean the glass. I just use home store cheap glass cleaner. Make sure it's good and dry. The painting will fit right in there. The backing goes on. Ta-da! That's pretty impressive. Okay, if you want a mat on it or you want it a little larger, you can put it in a mat and then in an 8x10 frame. So I've got mat board that I've cut to 8x10. I was going to float this seagull painting on. I don't think the red is right. I already said floating. This is floating, which is a fancy word for just sticking it on top. You can also go buy a pre-cut 8x10 mat with a 5x7 opening. It'll work just fine. Remember where we taped off these edges, we worked hard to get that pretty look there. So we want to use it. So I've got two choices on my mat here. Two different blues. I think I'm going to go with this one. All right, so I'm going to use double sticky tape to put this down. The glue would work, as I showed on the cards. I don't know about the mounting squares in a frame. It would probably work. I'm going to use double sticky tape because I have this super cool groovy tape gun, which you probably don't have at home, but double sticky tape works. But you can see I'm going all the way down the sides with it because I don't want this falling off the... You've seen pictures where they're hanging on the wall and then they fall off the mat. We don't want that happening. You probably should get a ruler and measure and make sure you've got it equal. I'm going to eyeball it, turn it upside down. If it looks good both ways, you're probably good. Alrighty, there we go. Here's my frame. I clean the glass, drop my mat board in there. See if I can get this. These are easy because they have these little swivels that just hold it in. There it is.